An Oklahoma football coach earns his place in the National Hall of Fame, and FC Tulsa is back home tonight.
We're calling up Jonathan Huskey about all of this big news. Jonathan, thanks for being here as always.
Sure, glad to be here.
So late Jinx football coach Alan Trimble will be inducted into the National High School Hall of Fame this weekend. What's the legacy that Trimble leaves behind on high school football and for those in Jinx?
Alan Trimble made Jinx football, and by an extension, Alan Trimble, the standard to which every other high school football program is compared, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. I had worked kind of all over the Southeast until I found a home here in Tulsa. Every single place I had been knew about Alan Trimble and knew about Jinx, knew about Jinx Union. 13 state titles, won 6 in a row at one point, 39-game winning streak at one point. But I think the biggest thing about Alan Trimble is that when you ask people about him, whether it's former players, guys he coached with, guys he coached against, the first thing they talk about is how great he was as a human being and the impact that he had on his players, the impact that he had on his team. And then they get into all the wins and losses and the championships. So Alan Trimble is kind of, he's the guy that everybody wants to be when they become a high school football coach. And I think when you look at the guys that are still coaching some of the big schools around here, Keith Riggs at Jinx, Josh Blankenship at Broken Arrow, Lauren Montgomery at Bixby was on his staff at one point. His fingerprints are on high school football in Green Country and in the state as a whole.
That's special, and to be recognized for that.
Yes, well-deserved, very much so.
I love that. Okay, let's talk about the NBA. Free agency begins in six-ish.
Like 6 minutes.
Yeah. How involved will the Thunder be? What names could we possibly see in OKC?
So not very and not many. The Thunder, they don't have the term is cap space, salary cap space. Essentially means they don't have the budget to go out and sign a big name free agent. But even if they did, they're not a team and they're not a program that really operates like that. You know, they haven't had a big-time superstar. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is kind of developing into that, but they haven't had a big-name superstar since Russell Westbrook and Paul George in that team. So they're more looking for a player or maybe two that can kind of fit into their system, slot into their system that helps them build what they're trying to build now around a very young core, very talented core. But one name to watch, Shake Milton, the former Owasso Ram, has spent a lot of time with the Philadelphia 76ers as a pro. He is a free agent, and there have been some reports that link him with the Thunder. So that'd be cool, right?
That would be,
kid comes back home to Oklahoma. He's a talented player. He's a scorer, and you know, I think he could really help the ball club. But he's really the only name on the list of guys that they've been linked to that really anybody's heard of, quite honestly.
Right.
They're just not in play for those big name guys.
Sure.
They're super young though, so that's...
Yes, yeah, and that's by design.
Yeah. All right, let's end with this. FC Tulsa is back home tonight, hosting a Detroit City FC in a matchup you can see right here on News on 6. They haven't won a matchup in more than a month. How can they snap their losing streak?
You know, I mean, this sounds simplistic and silly, but they've got to score more. And Detroit City FC might be the right team to face tonight. They are the lowest scoring team in the USL. They've scored 10 goals all season. FC Tulsa has 17, so they're a few spots ahead of them. They have had chances. They've had games where they got out to leads early but weren't able to hold them. So I think if you listen to their head coach, Blair Gavin, they're going to want to get out early, hopefully score early, put some pressure on Detroit early, and then kind of, you know, let the defense do the work the rest of the game. 8 o'clock is kickoff at One Oak Field, and again, you can watch it right here on Channel 6.
All right.
It's also dollar beer night out there, so they can get a crowd. Good incentive to go.
Supposed to be the biggest crowd in franchise history tonight.
Wow.
Okay,
yeah.
well, there you go. Maybe that will help them out.
What more could you need?
Exactly, Jonathan. Thanks for being here this afternoon.
Yep.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.